IVM.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of The Fighting G.O.A.T. Episode number 7 with my partner in crime, Mystic Arjun Chipalkatti and me, Somesh, Superhuman Kamra. What's up, Chips?
Oh, good in the hood. What a week of MMA we have had, Somesh. What a week it's been. It's been pandemonium in the world. We have still lockdown in Bombay. We don't have a lockdown in Bombay. The people are not able to decide. 2 more days and we find out what's happening. But one thing that hasn't stopped is the world of MMA. Be it UFC, ONE FC, Bellator. It's been a banging week, Somesh. Full chalk fight cards.
Absolutely. And the week that was, man, we got all our predictions. We selected the same guys. We got it right. We got it wrong. We're sailing in the same boat.
But let's not forget that Team Chips is still 2-0 over Team Kamra.
Producers, please cut this part.
It's over. No, let everybody know. Because see, look, let's quickly start off with the week that was. We'll start off with, we've been talking about Mighty Mouse taking on Adriano Moraes for the flyweight belt. And what a fight that was. Back and forth action till Mighty Mouse, he was hurt on the feet. And Moraes, what a fighter. What a stud, man. That knee that put him to sleep. That was amazing.
Well, in fact, I guess it was the uppercut that started it. But man, that knee closed the show for a veteran like Mighty Mouse. Arjun, do you think that the fighters at ONE FC right now are climbing up the ladder and they are just as good as the guys in UFC?
Absolutely. I really do think so. Especially in the lighter weight divisions. If you notice, in every sport, in the sport of fighting, the lighter weight divisions have more skill. They have much more technique. I'm not saying the heavyweights don't. It's just that when you're heavier, the chances of a knockout are much higher. Whereas in the lighter weight, the technique really comes into display. You can see it. And guys like Mighty Mouse and Adriano Moraes put on such a lovely clinic. They were striking, grappling, wrestling. But I think the youngster Moraes, he's a champion for a reason. Mighty Mouse has had his time. He's been defending his belt. He defended his belt 10 times in the UFC. He's beaten the best of the best. Right. And, like we always say, Somesh, sometimes maybe the sport is catching up.
Well, yes, in fact, the sport is catching up. And how? We saw he was one of the veterans. And, post the fight, he clearly said, I'm so happy that ONE is making its introduction into the United States. And the fans are actually going to see what true level competition is. And ONE FC is not very behind the talent of the UFC. It would be very interesting to see this year. I think in May or June, if I'm not mistaken, ONE FC makes its debut in the United States. Let's see how this goes.
Yes, I can't wait. But Somesh, that was not the only organization which shown in the MMA week. That was Bellator came out with a banging card of its own. We had Ryan Bader who took on Lyoto Machida, both former UFC guys, both fought in the light heavyweight division. And then we had Kat Zingano, who had her comeback after so many years, came back and won by first round armbar.
What a comeback. Man, that was crazy.
That was a great comeback. But, when we saw the fight between Ryan Bader and Lyoto Machida, it was like watching a vintage fight. But I could honestly say it was a great performance by Ryan Bader. He completely shut down the Dragon, the karate specialist, and he won 50-45 unanimous decision.
Right.
That was a big win for Bader, considering the fact that in the UFC almost 8 or 9 years ago, Machida had knocked him out cold.
Yes.
And now they're both 1-1. So maybe we'll see a rubber match, Somesh.
Well, hopefully, yes. These guys are not past their prime. They're putting up a great show for the fans. I definitely want to see a round number 3 for Lyoto Machida and Ryan Bader. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. We predicted Mike Perry and Daniel Rodriguez. Mike Perry was my choice. Daniel Rodriguez was my dear friend Arjun Chipalkatti's, and I'm I'm happy to say that I have yet again lost, or I have succumbed.
Team Chips wins again and again and again. Guys, I'm telling you, just you're going to back the winning horse now.
Yeah, man. This guy is on a roll, and man, there's no touching him. So whoever's here, and who's actually betting on the fights, please listen to Team Chips. There's a good chance that you're going to be winning some good amount of money.
I'm going to get beaten up because if I get one wrong, there's going to be my doorbell heard rings all the time. My ding dong, somebody will just come with one hockey stick and just break my knees.
Well, that's the plan. So,
but let's get back to Mike Perry versus Rodriguez was a great fight, but it showed one thing: the way Rodriguez battered him and beat him up, it got Perry doubting himself by the time it had reached the end of the fight. It's one of the things that we say. I thought the first thing I thought was Mike Perry is a fighter in a wrong generation, because if Mike Perry was fighting during Chris Lieben's time, this would have been a different outcome.
Absolutely.
The skill set that he brings is so amazing, so entertaining to watch. He's standing there, he's looking to strike, he's looking to bang, but I think he got outstruck by a better fighter.
Absolutely. Can you imagine Mike Perry versus Wanderlei Silva? Way back in the day.
Ryan Stan, Wanderlei Silva, anybody, man.
But man, you know what? Times have changed, fighters have changed, strategies have changed. And Mike Perry is stuck in a different generation. He himself said very clearly, he thinks he's not great anymore and he needs to pull up his socks because he's got one fight left in his contract. He's had 7 defeats in his last 10. He only has one fight in the UFC. He doesn't know if they will renew his contract. Let's see how this goes. We hope to see him back with a bang. And man, he's one of those entertaining fighters who you would pay money to see at any given point of time.
Exactly. It doesn't win, lose, draw. That didn't matter to the old school fan. It still doesn't matter to me. I don't care if you win, lose, or draw. It's as long as you're there to put on a fight, and that's what Mike Perry is there for. He's always there to put on a fight. He went out on his shield, man. He was a bloodied, battered warrior. But I guess the things have changed now, and I think Mike Perry finally he started training with Colby Covington. So he's going to figure it out. And he's going to figure it out. You've got to give him some time.
Well, he just needs to shake the rust off. And I think he would be back with a bang. I hope so, because I really enjoy his fighting style. As you rightly said, he's just typically old school guy who comes there, he bangs, he puts up a show. And I guess that's exactly what people pay for.
Exactly. Somesh, but that being said, what a great fight it was. And Marvin Vettori, who took on a last-minute replacement of the one and only, came out on top, man.
That was crazy because Kevin Holland accepted this fight 9 days before it was supposed to happen. He went into a 5-round war with Derek Brunson, and that was a grueling fight. It was it was excruciating to even watch. And post that, I thought he would be medically suspended for 3 to 4 months and we would not see him back for a while. But man, he took this fight on days' notice. The original opponent for Vettori was Britain's very own Darren Till.
Yeah.
But, he had a broken collarbone. And, to be honest, nobody would face Marvin Vettori on a week or 10 days notice. It's very difficult to face, someone with that caliber on a short notice, someone who doesn't mind losing. I guess props to Kevin Holland. He saved the event for the UFC. And man, what a job did he do?
No, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. He's an absolute true company man. He stepped in. And what was interesting to see was that like you said, nobody wants to step in to face Marvin Vettori. I want the fans to know that Marvin Vettori had actually faced off with Israel Adesanya back in the day.
Yeah.
When Adesanya was climbing the ropes. And it was one of the closest fights with Israel Adesanya. And so Marvin Vettori is no slouch. He's on the way with this victory. Now he is at the door of a title shot. So that makes this entire middleweight future even murkier, because next week we've got Whittaker taking on Kelvin Gastelum. And and according to me, Robert Whittaker is the next in line for that rematch. He has to be in line for that rematch. Whether, but this is the thing. He's the kind of warriors that these guys are. They're willing to take chances. They're willing to fight. They're willing to put it on the line and, keep and stay active. While the champ had gone to face on Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title, these guys waited. But now that Vettori, but I feel my heart goes out to Kevin, man. Kevin Holland, he took a chance, but he has now been. We spoke about this on the Ultimate Guide to UFC in so much detail, where, he has gone on now to lose 10 rounds of his life. He has lost 10 rounds straight.
Man, that's crazy.
And by similar techniques.
Well, he has. The takedown has been a huge issue in Kevin Holland's game. And honestly, I feel people are smart enough to just look through it.
No,
Each on that one aspect, and they know as to how to break this particular fighter.
I think Kevin Holland should be sent on a one-way ticket to Dagestan and not to be heard of for the next 1 year. And then let him come back and get into a fight. I want to see that happen. Because can you imagine Kevin Holland under the tutelage of somebody like Khabib Nurmagomedov? Holy shit, that would be amazing.
That's crazy. It's going to be awesome. But Chips, let me just toss things up for you. Now, if I put for you Marvin Vittori, if I put Kevin Gastelum, if I put Whittaker, Paulo Costa, and Darren Till, all in that same mix. And if you had to pair...
My God, it's a tough job. See, right now, okay, I'm just resetting the board, okay? I would put up Robert Whittaker as the number one contender. He doesn't need to fight anybody. But I would I would do a rematch between Vettori and Darren Till. I would do Kelvin Gastelum versus Paulo Costa. And then the winners of both the fights fight each other for the next title shot.
Oh, man, that is so crazy because, in fact, if you ask me, I would put Marvin Vittori versus Robert Whittaker, and that decides who takes on Israel Adesanya. But at the same time, we've got Darren Till versus Paulo Costa. That is something which I would be very interested in.
It'll be incredible. I mean, that is a big, big fight. Darren Till versus Paulo Costa has fireworks written all over it. But you know what? We will cover this and much, much more in our third segment. But right now, we are moving on to round 2 of the Fighting GOAT. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you aren't following us on social media, please do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Seat Tires and TheWholeTruthFoods.com. So this week on Advertising is Dead, Varun was joined by Mansi Zaveri. She shares her experience of running a community for parents of young kids and teenagers and of hosting a podcast along the same lines. Gauri Devidayal was joined by Divya Thani on This Round Is On Me. Divya works as a global editorial director with Condé Nast Traveler. They discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of a travel writer's job. On Candid Kanan, Sid is in conversation with Adarsh Gaurav, who recently scored a BAFTA nomination for his role in the Netflix adaptation of The White Tiger. They talk about his role in the show, life pre- and post-stardom, and so much more. On Agla Station Adulthood, Ritash and Ayushi talk about the precious time and opportunities lost to the lockdown and share their post-COVID wish list. When it comes to cricket this season, we have you covered. In English, we have Edges and Sledges, which do their show live on YouTube. Look for announcements over there. And for our Hindi listeners, we have Khel Neeti, hosted by Rajiv Mishra and ex-Indian cricketer Sabah Kareem. This show is live streamed on YouTube every day at 9:15. Definitely do check these out, and let's get you back to your show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Fighting GOAT, where Arjun, Mystic Chipalkatti, and me, Somesh, Superhuman Kamra, will be breaking down round 2 for you. Chips, hit it up from there, buddy.
Oh man, round 2, we talk about so many aspects of fighting. We talk about the technicals, we talk about the training, we talk about the health and fitness, we talk about everything. But one aspect of MMA which actually draws in the viewer more than anything, at least it drew me in the start. I love the violent sport, but man, the trash talk. When you have a fighter talking to another fighter, it's guys like Kevin Holland who will talk to you during the fight. He'll be talking shit to you to your face. Guys like Khabib who will be smacking you left, right, and center and be telling you, give up, give up, give up. Okay, that's a much more polite trash talk. But then, before we get into, say, the promotional aspect of trash talk, Somesh, what would you say I'll give you a choice, chal. Okay? Would you rather do trash talk? Would you rather compare, say, like a Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock trash talk? Or would you take a Conor McGregor versus Aldo trash talk? Or a Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz trash talk? Or when back in the day, Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva trash talk?
Man,
what would be your favorite out of this?
These are such legendary clashes that you mentioned out your Chips, because honestly, I feel way back in the day, the fighters didn't have to trash talk because they used to just talk and that was trash. And the guys that came from that background, from these small gullies of Brazil, that was the way they spoke. It was termed as trash talk way later. and then the entire refined Rich Franklin kind of approach came into the picture, where people were
Hey, come on,
respectful.
Rich Franklin didn't say anything. Yeah, poor guy.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like that, that entire refined aspect of the sport started coming in.
True.
But honestly, when somebody trash talks, I would definitely like to speak about Frank Mir versus Brock Lesnar.
Man, I forgot about that.
When Frank Mir actually said he wants Brock Lesnar to be the first death in the octagon.
Oh, when Mike Tyson said he wants to eat someone's babies.
Yes.
That is dangerous trash talk.
Those guys are the real deal because they wore their heart on their sleeves.
Very true.
They spoke what was inside them. The fighters of today may look at sponsorship deals and what.
Why do I always feel that you're looking at Sugar Sean O'Malley? Why do I get that feeling?
My number one favorite guy. So yes, Arjun, let us speak of the 10 best trash talkers that you would put on the table. You go for 5, I go for 5.
Okay.
And we'll speak post that as to why trash talking is good or why trash talking is bad.
Okay. So let's go in descending order. We'll go from worst to the best, okay? From 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, let's go, one you, one me. So let's speak of number 10. Who do you think?
In the number 10 slot, worst trash talk was, not in terms of it being bad, but in just terms of it being cringy, was, I would say, Colby Covington talking trash to everybody he knows.
Well, yeah, but see, at some level, Colby also backs it up with his performance.
No, this is not talking about backing it up. I'm only talking about purely trash talk. Purely trash talk.
Pure trash talk. Okay, cool. So, Colby Covington, number 10. There was a time when this guy called Jorge Rivera was trash talking with Michael Bisping.
Of course, yeah. I remember that. But that was like a child playing with adult chess. Like me trying to be, if I was 10 years old, trying to join Virat Kohli's team. Yeah. It would just be stupid.
Right. So, I think at number 9, I would put Jorge Rivera out there.
Jorge Rivera. Okay. I would put number 8, I would put Tito Ortiz. He's had some legendary trash talking abilities. It's been very cringy, but it's been entertaining as hell.
Well, that's a damn good pick out there because Tito Ortiz was one of my picks. But yeah, number 7, let me think about it. There was a time when Josh Koscheck was a good fighter.
Oh, yes.
But after a while, he became so cringy. And towards the end of his UFC career, I think Josh Koscheck is definitely number 7 for me.
Okay, Josh Koscheck is number 7. I would say I would put Michael Bisping at number 6.
Ooh, that's a nice pick.
Michael Bisping can do some great trash talking.
Well, that's a really nice pick because Michael Bisping, I think, is definitely a top 5 in trash talking. Not only because he trash talk, because he makes it look so casual and funny.
That's true. He's absolutely, and in the commentary position, he's not only informative, but he's super duper funny. He's super duper entertaining.
Right.
He's just an overall package. He's just amazing.
Right.
All right. Who's number 5, Somesh?
Number 5. So there is this one fighter on my mind. He trash talks, but at the same time, he also trolls the reporters and the journalists. For me, number 5 would be Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Oh my God, I almost guessed it, man. When you said troll the reporters, they used to go dog barking like a dog in Pride days.
Yeah. Well, Quentin Rampage Jackson versus Ariel Helwani is something that you cannot miss.
Yeah. Oh man. How good was Quentin's stare down?
Oh,
You'd
man.
get legitimately scared. The way he used to stare at you.
Oh man.
God,
that guy was no dog in the park. He was there to bite. He was
freaky scary, man.
I can imagine. Chips, number 4 for you.
All right, number 4. Who's it going to be at number 4? God, this is getting harder and harder now because I don't know who to pick. Number 4, I'd go with Jon Jones. He's been talking a lot of shit online. He talks a fair amount, and he loves to talk his trash via Twitter. He loves it. He loves talk. He would talk trash about everybody. The minute a fight card starts, and especially if there are fights in the light heavyweight division, chalu ho gaya uska.
Absolutely. The good part about Jon Jones talking trash on Twitter is that it is 2 a.m. US time, but it's 2 p.m. our time. So we get to see it right there live as soon as he puts it up. So I love him for that.
All right, Somesh, who's number 3?
Me.
Because I already know who 1 and 2 are. I already know who 1 and 2 are. So the third slot has to be
I don't
filled.
think this particular gentleman trash talks a lot, but he generally speaks inside the octagon. Why me?
Who would that be? Who is our number 3?
Nick Diaz.
Oh, man. You know what? We can combine the brothers, Nick and Nate.
And these two guys are absolute savages.
Yeah, we should combine. Number 3 should be Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz, the Diaz brothers.
Well, the Diaz brothers, yes.
The Diaz brothers were amazing trash talkers. Amazing trash talkers.
Outstanding.
All right, let's go to number 2. Okay, here we go.
Let's get on to it. Number 2, Chips. What do you feel?
Conor McGregor.
No, is it?
No.
Oh man, that's my number 1.
Oh man. Okay, hang on. Okay, we can both say what our number 2 and number 1s are because we are so close. I would put Conor McGregor number 2, and I would put the greatest trash talker, Chael Sonnen, at number 1.
Oh man, you know what? You've actually just taken my picks because for me, Chael Sonnen was number 2 and Conor was number 1. But honestly, it's it's so close. It's so close because Chael Sonnen is so smooth and he's such a smooth gangster that man, he could definitely pip Conor to be number 1.
It's the thing is Conor's trash talk is he'll make fun of of the silly things that you do, whereas Chael Sonnen will not only insult you, he insults your country, he insults your culture, he insults the kind of person you are. I mean, if you see the segment, okay, Chael Sonnen does this segment on the Nogueira brothers, who are one of the most respected people in the sport,
right?
And he said that when Little Nog and Big Nog came to Vegas
for the first
time, Big Nog was petting a bus and Little Nog was trying to put a carrot through the grill, trying to feed it because they thought it was a horse. He put a lasso around it and was saying, "Whoa, big fella." He tried to take the bus home. I mean, who talks such rubbish, man? This is complete crap.
You know what? You need to have a different mind to even process all these things. But man, don't me and Chips love this.
Dude, remember that segment he did with how Wanderlei Silva and Shogun do jiu-jitsu in bed? Yeah. I mean, come on, man. There is a limit to the trash talk.
Well, in fact, this guy, apart from trash talking, he just trolls every single buddy in the industry. And it's so awesome to hear. I mean, this guy is an absolute savage on the mic.
He is unrealistically gifted. And he went after Brazil for a couple of years. Huh?
Yes.
He just went after Brazil.
Well, was that after Anderson Silva beat him?
Yes, it was before leading up to the fight. It was during the fight. It was after the fight. It's after he lost the second fight also. He didn't stop. He stopped with Anderson. Then he went on to like Jose Aldo. And then he went to Jacare. And then he started making fun of Wanderlei Silva and Pride with the referee cameras.
Right.
And man, that guy didn't spare anybody.
He didn't spare anyone, man. Chips. So yes, so we have pretty much a unanimous decision on the number 2 and number 1. It's Chael Sonnen and the notorious Conor McGregor. But how about we get on to speaking about what are the pros and cons of trash talking? How does it affect the mindset? Does it benefit the fighter who trash talks? Does it benefit his opponent? What's the entire deal? What's happening there?
No, I think, trash talking, of course, is a huge integral aspect of the sport. Not only will it help in the promotional aspect. I mean, if you're promoting a fight and you see, one guy talking shit about the other guy, of course you're going to get it. And especially if the guy is like somebody like Chael Sonnen, it becomes incredibly entertaining. It becomes ridiculously entertaining.
Right.
And then when you've got somebody like Conor McGregor who, talks trash and gets into your mind, like what he did with Jose Aldo, was 1 year of promotional trash talk, just constant trash talk. And you saw what happened, Somesh. But how good was it for the pay-per-view buys?
Man,
how good was it for the promotion?
But Chips, whilst I completely agree with you, there are instances where people like Paulo Costa that actually trash talk and they in fact insult their opponents, but it doesn't match up to the skill set inside the octagon. Do you think at some level that also loses the value of that fighter where he's not property anymore?
Yeah, see, Paulo Costa has fallen off the rails a little bit because of all the trash talk that he did with Israel Adesanya. And Adesanya was not the talker in that fight. He just came out and said, listen, I'm going to beat his ass. And that's it. And he did exactly that. But see, there are always going to be instances. But I think the fighters have realized now that without the, a little bit of trash talk in the promotional part, it's not going to work. And I
Right,
think every fighter is beginning to realize this.
Right. You mean to say their personal equity value is not going high if they do not put on a show in all aspects. So it's not just about the hands and legs and technique, but your mouth also has to work.
Yeah, man, you got to, I mean, see, look, it's the entertainment business at the end of the day. I mean, yes, it's a sport. Yes, it's fighting, but it's also entertaining. It has to be entertaining. So it's, you're not living in the GSP Anderson era anymore, where the skill level was so ridiculously high that, it didn't need trash talk. But though guys like Josh Koscheck and Chael Sonnen, when they did their trash talk, they brought the fight to them. Both of these guys gave their fighters a tough time.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, if you look at a very average card where, Conor McGregor was facing Cowboy Cerrone, it did more views than the heavyweight.
Exactly.
That just went by. So it just goes to show the star power of someone who can draw in the crowd, maybe not with the skill completely, but with the entire, with the trash talk, with the fun, with the entertainment aspect. I think that is very, very essential in today's era, as long as you can back it up with your skill. See, I love GSP, I love Rich Franklin, but if you ask me to pay for their fights, I may not do that. I'm very happy that the UFC comes free on Sony in India. So, so I don't have to pay for any of it. But, if I was in any foreign country and if I had to pay for it, I do not think I would pay for a GSP fight.
To tell you the truth, Somesh, I'm not impressed by your performance.
Well, that was pretty close.
To tell you the truth.
Hey, George, where you at?
I'm in Canada, my friend. To tell you the truth, I'm not impressed by your performance. I look forward to your next fight. I can't do it, man. I can do Anderson Silva. I can do Alistair Overeem very well. Because, it's very cold in Holland. And it's the horse meat that's important for us to survive. You see, guys like Overeem never trash talked,
Yeah.
They never trash talked, but they were violent inside. So, but against Brock Lesnar, there was no trash talk necessary. But dude, we forgot about Brock. I mean, Brock talked trash. So much trash against Frank Mir.
But, he was just there for like 3-4 fights, he was not somebody who's like a seasoned guy who's there, for like 6 years, 7 years. And
but dude, he made a mark.
Oh, absolutely. Undoubtedly. That's a whole new topic altogether. But, when it comes to trash talk and backing it with performance, I think there's no better one than Conor and Chael Sonnen. So, man, I would stick to those two for a very, very long time, till someone really comes out of the woods like an Israel Adesanya or...
No, but even Jones. Jones backs it up, man.
Oh,
Jones has backed it up against DC so much. That entire Jones and Daniel Cormier segment was just Jones. And that too, if it's not even masked. Like they would speak on camera, off camera. They got into a brawl on the face-off stage.
Man, in fact, DC has openly spoken about Jones and his coke habits and how he's a wife beater and how he runs over old people, and it's just so transparent, and they're not trying to fake anything. These guys genuinely don't like each other. The fights were great, but I love the fact that DC after the fight accepted the defeat and said, listen, if he's beaten me twice, there's absolutely no doubt that he is the number one pound for pound fighter.
And that too, to do it with such a stamp, he knocked him out cold in the 4th round.
Yes.
Cold. That head kick stiffened up DC. And I've never seen more vicious elbows being thrown at anybody. Like DC was out for a while. Like there was 3 minutes he was unconscious.
That was crazy. It was
horrible, horrendous to see.
For all the listeners out here who are MMA practitioners, maybe potential fighters, yes, trash talking is good, but you need to back it up with your skill set. Otherwise, you're going to be just another water in the park. So,
the best example of India's biggest trash talker, I think Jason Ramesh Solomon burst onto the scene with that brash attitude, and he talked trash and he backed it up for the largest part. Of course, there always reaches a time in a fighter's career where the trash talking goes wrong.
Right.
And, you lose. So, but big deal. Nobody cares about that. But the fact is that he brought in that entertainment value when it was
very
needed.
True. Very true. In fact, he definitely did. However, there was one fight, I think, in Super Fight League where, he kind of pushed it too far and maybe got knocked out in some 15 seconds.
He faced a man called Amitesh Chaubey. And,
right.
Amitesh Chaubey, he was coming in with super support, and Jason was just being Jason. He was high-fiving the cheerleaders and talking to his fans, and he ran into a speeding bullet of a right hand.
Oh man!
And was put out after that. But you know what? He's learned after that a lot. So it's trash talking is a two-way street. So like Somesh said, you got to be able to back it up to a certain extent.
Yes, absolutely. And that pretty much ends round 2 for us
here.
We're going to be going on to round 3. That is after a very, very short break. So see you on the other side.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to round number 3 of The Fighting GOAT. I'm Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, Chipalkatti, along with my main man, Superhuman, Somesh Kamra.
Woo-hoo!
Are you ready for the MMA Face-Off? Because Team Chips is 3-0, 3-0.
I am so not looking forward to this, but yes, I'm ready.
Are you ready? We've got a great card in front of us. Man, we've got 3 fights that we're going to be talking about. In the heavyweight division, the veteran Andrei Arlovsky takes on the young man, Mr. Chase Sherman.
Well, that's a very, very interesting contest, according to me. A good matchup for both of them.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction here is going to be for the young hawk. I'm going to be going with Chase Sherman for this one. I love Arlovsky. Don't get me wrong, but I think his time is up, and Chase Sherman could do much of a barrier for him.
No, I disagree, man. Andrei Arlovsky has evolved so much over the years. He's looking better and better as he goes. And I think he's going to shut down Chase Sherman. I think your winner is going to be Andrei Arlovsky. So Team Chips has picked Arlovsky and Team Kamra picks Sherman. All right, Somesh, moving on to the lightweight division. And one of your favorite fighters is fighting. It's Jeremy Little Heathen Stevens taking on my boy Drakkar Closer.
Well, man, that is such a great matchup. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, these two were supposed to face off earlier, and because of some issues, it got cancelled, and they are rescheduled to face off next weekend.
Just 1 week away from it now.
Yeah, just 1 week away. I'm going to be going for the veteran Jeremy Stevens, the man who has hands of stone.
No, bro, that's Sam Stout.
No. For me, it's Jeremy Stevens. I love.
You choosing? He's got. Yo, man, he has hands of stone indeed. Up until the fight, I think in the Jose Aldo fight, up until the time that Aldo landed that vicious body shot, which crumbled Jeremy Stevens, Jeremy was holding his own quite a bit. He's a great striker. He's got immense power. So he versus Drakkar Closer is going to be a great fight.
Yeah,
but I think Team Chips is backing Drakkar Closer. I've seen him fighting. He's got great power himself. He's got good technique, and he's going to bring the fight to Stevens.
Oh man, that's crazy. That happens in the lightweight bout, which is 155 pounds. Which is Arjun's current weight.
Yes. More like 155 kilos, but not pounds.
Arjun, let's go on to the main event of the evening.
Main event.
Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum in a middleweight bout, which is 185 pounds.
And guys, to mention, this fight has huge title implications. Huge. This is literally, I would call it a number 1 contender fight.
Absolutely. In fact, the original opponent for Robert Whittaker was Paulo Costa to take him on, but he pulled out. And the replacement has been Kelvin Gastelum. However, he pulled out quite some time back. Kelvin Gastelum has had enough time to prepare for a veteran like Robert Whittaker. So, Team Chips, what are you going for?
I'm going with the Aussie, Robert Whittaker, baby. He's got it. He's got it in the bag. I think he does it.
Well, we have the same pick out here. Somesh Superhuman Kamra is also going for the Reaper, Robert Whittaker. So yeah, let's sum it up. It's Robert Whittaker for Team Chips and Team Kamra. It's Jeremy Stevens for Team Kamra and Drakkar Closer for Team Chips. And it's Chase Sherman for Team Kamra, and Andrei Arlovsky for Team Chips. Am I right?
The Pitbull, baby. Yes, sir. Those are the picks. And you know what? We're going to have a great night of fights coming up, so don't miss out on that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to episode 7. But you know what, Somesh? You're going to hear us somewhere else this week as well, aren't we?
Yes, we are coming on with Mr. Doctor on the Habit Coach this week, exclusively on both his episode, and it's going to be fun.
It's going to be episode 440 and 442. So don't miss out with both me and Somesh in a great chat with the doctor himself.
Yes, absolutely. Looking forward on seeing you next time. Please speak to us, write to us, make predictions, have some fun, and get a chance to win some exciting prizes. But if you want to reach out,
who knows, they might win some Venom t-shirts, It's a new sponsor of the UFC now.
Absolutely. If you want to speak to Team Chips, how do people speak to you?
All right. If you want to get in touch with me, Arjun Chipalkatti, you can catch me on Twitter, which is @MysticChipal, or on Instagram, which is Arjun_Chipalkatti. And Mr. Kamra?
Awesome. If you want to catch me on Instagram, it is somesh.kamra, as simple as that. And on Twitter, it is somesh_kamra. So take part, participate, make your predictions, speak to us, and get a chance to win some exciting prizes only on the Fighting Goat.
You got to say it with power. Only on the Fighting Goat.
Only on the Fighting Goat.
So guys, stay tuned. Thank you for listening to our episode, but catch us every Wednesday live for many, many more episodes to come. And if you want to hear much, much more content like this, log on to ivmpodcast.com. Check us out on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere. So don't miss out. This is Arjun, aka Mystic Chips, and Somesh, the Superhuman Kamra, saying ciao and sayonara.
Whether you're an established sports person or a budding one, or simply a sports enthusiast, join us, Tanvi and Shlok.
We are two passionate pro badminton players talking policy, mindset, and everything sport.
So tune in to the Millennial Athlete every Monday.
Only on the IVM Podcast Network.
Trust us, it's gonna be lit.
From uncensored and unfiltered chats with the who's who of the entertainment industry, I, Siddharth Kannan, bring you a very hardcore chat show called Candid Kannan. Tune in every Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.